As you're making your way out of trauma, or maybe you just are trying to be a better person, consider how you identify with yourself or with objects or some role in life. Examine that to maybe get unstuck and move forward in life. I'm Mark Roach, offering a different perspective perhaps than you've considered before. Hopefully that will help you look deeper into yourself, enrich your relationships, and improve your life. Imagine diving into the psyche where identity melds so thoroughly with an external entity that one becomes indistinguishable from the group, a role or ideology that they've embraced. This phenomenon is called over-identification, and it presents itself in vivid colors across our social fabric. One aspect of this phenomenon is a loss of individual identity. You might meet someone who can't describe themselves without referencing their job or their political party, their fan group, or some extreme belief that just keeps coming up time after time after time. Their self-narrative becomes a one-note song where every verse repeats the same chorus or belonging, often at the expense of personal growth or exploration. And there's also a sense of extreme conformity. Watch as they morph to fit perfectly within their chosen mold, adjusting their beliefs, behavior, even their taste to match the group that they're identifying with. This isn't just following trends, it's an erasure of self to fit a perceived ideal. And then there's often defensive behavior. Challenging their identity, you might find yourself facing not just disagreement, but a personal attack. Their defense mechanism kicks in, not for themselves, but for the entity they've over-identified with. And there's also a neglect of personal needs. The individual may sacrifice their health, relationships, or happiness, all for the sake of maintaining this identity. The costs, well, they're often unseen until it's too late. Black and white thinking also marks this phenomenon. Their world becomes binary, friend or foe, right or wrong, with them or against them. Nuance, the spice of human interaction, that's lost in this polarized view. And there's an emotional overinvestment in this phenomenon. Their emotional stock is tied to this identity. Success or criticism of the group is felt as deeply as a personal success or a failure. And then there's an isolation from diverse perspectives. They may surround themselves with echo chambers, avoiding anything that might prick the bubble of their over-identified reality. And then there's a sense of over-sacrifice. They'll give up too much, too willingly for the cause, a group, or this role. This could be time, money, or even ethical boundaries, all in the name of loyalty. And there's a sense of idealization over their chosen group or this figure might well, be like in deities, flawless and above critique. Criticism is met with disbelief and firm dismissal. And there's a sense of difficulty in transitioning. When life inevitably shifts, whether it's a career change, a political party, political party falling from grace, or maybe their fandom dissolving, they're left in an identity crisis, struggling to recalibrate. And there can be a phase of burnout where there's a constant effort to maintain this identity, especially under unrealistic expectations, which often leads to exhaustion, mental, and sometimes physical. And there's a manipulation by group dynamics. They're ripe for manipulation, whether by leaders of the dynamics of the group, because their self-esteem hinges on group approval. Now consider this through the lens of psychological well-being. Over-identification can lead to what's often discussed in mental health circles as a lack of self-compassion, where one's critical inner voice becomes a megaphone when failing to meet the group's standards. That was mentioned by Neff back in 2003. This isn't just a theory, it's an observable in how individuals struggle with self-kindness when their identity is threatened or criticized. Moreover, the effects ripple out beyond the individual and social context. Over-identification can lead to what some might argue as a form of groupthink, where critical thinking is sacrificed at the altar of group cohesion, potentially leading to detrimental decisions or actions. Janis documented this back in 1972. Addressing over-identification isn't just about personal growth, but it's also about fostering a society where diversity of thought is celebrated, where individuals can engage with various aspects of life without losing themselves. The journey towards balancing identity with individuality might be one of the most profound quests of personal development in our times.